we are looking at lesson 3.2 in our Glencoe Accelerated Math book on rational numbers. Before we do anything else, we need to figure out what types of numbers we have in our world. And that's called the hierarchy. It's called the number hierarchy. So if we were going to look at different types of numbers from the most specific to the least specific, the most specific type of number that we have, that is a natural number. Those are our numbers that are found in nature. That is the set of numbers that are positive and do not include a fraction or a decimal. A natural number is a value that is greater than 0, so 1 or higher, and does not have a fraction or a decimal. Okay, those are our natural numbers. We also call those counting numbers. So when we start to count, we start at 1 and we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yada, yada, yada. When we learned how to count, did we count in halves? No. Did we count in quarters? Did we start counting with 0? No. So those are not natural numbers. Natural numbers, things that we can find, quantities that we can find in nature. Okay? A whole number, that set of numbers is slightly larger. We're going to add one more number to it. We're going to add 0. So a whole number is a natural number and the number 0. With me so far? Yes? If you think about your math career starting in like kindergarten and working your way up, we started with our natural numbers, right? Okay? And in kindergarten we're told to count the number of apples in the basket and count the number of doggies and count the flowers and count the petals on the flowers, right? Okay. And then we learned that we could have no flowers, and we learned that we could have no doggies, and we could have no apples, right? Okay. Well, we just learned about integers. And integers are our whole numbers and their negative counterparts. Okay, so going from whole numbers to integers, we add a whole nother set of values, don't we? We add in all the negatives. Can an integer have a fraction or a decimal with it? No. No. Our integers cannot have a fraction or a decimal as part of that value. So our integers are whole numbers plus the negative counterpart. Make sense? There's one more type of number that we're learning about today. Those are rational numbers. A rational number is defined as any value that can be written in the form A over B. That means that if we can write it in the form of a fraction, then it is a rational number. So at this point, can I include fractions? Can I include fractions? Yeah. It says right there. There's a fraction in the definition. So now we can work with fractions. Can we include decimals? Yes. Because we can convert a fraction to a decimal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that decimal can be written in the form of a fraction. That means that it is rational. Those are our rational numbers, and that's what we're working with today. Okay? Anything that can be written in the form A over B. Are our rational numbers, can they also be negative? Yeah? I would agree. We can have a negative value in a fraction. Absolutely. Can this include 0? Yeah. Because if we look, each layer of numbers we build, correct? Okay. So what would be the most specific type of number? What is the most restrictive type of number? What would it be? Yes?
Natural numbers?
Natural numbers are our most restrictive. Because you can't have a fraction, you can't have a decimal, you can't have a negative, you can't have 0. There are 4 different things that you cannot have if that value is a natural number. What's the least restrictive?
Rational numbers?
A rational number. So then, is a natural number rational? Yeah. Can a natural number be written in the form of A over B? Yeah. Is a whole number rational? Yeah. Is an integer a rational number? Yeah. So what that tells us is that as we go on in our math career, we are adding more to this set of numbers. And we're getting more and more broad. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, good. Let's look then at what we can do with these numbers. So we're going to work today. And I have some rational numbers that I'm going to write as a decimal. And if we look in our book at the bottom of page 101, it says example 1, and we're given 2 different rational numbers to write as a fraction. The first is 6 1/6. We commonly call this a mixed number or a mixed fraction, depending upon who taught us. Okay. I prefer the term mixed number as opposed to mixed fraction, but they're synonymous. How can I convert this to an improper fraction? Because I need to write it in the form of A over B. Yes, sir.
Multiply 6 by 2.
Okay. And then we do what?
And then you add the answer to that to 1.
Okay. And then we do what?